The only Roman Catholic Church official who was jailed in the U.S. in the sex abuse scandal has been freed by an appeals court. He was originally guilty of child endangerment, but now that has been reversed. And nobody's in jail with that whole gigantic sex abuse scandal where priests were fucking children and getting away with it. Now nobody's in jail for that. Nobody. Out of the thousands of cases, whether you talk about here in the U.S. or you talk about overseas, I remember we covered it in detail one time. I read out like a list of all the different ones. Monsignor William Lynn is the name of the guy. He had a 3 to 6 year sentence for endangering kids. Now he's freed. The appeals court panel's opinion said that the child endangerment law only applied to parents and direct caregivers and not people in administrative or supervisory roles, which leads me to believe that there was some sort of corruption here. Now, I have no evidence of that. I'll be upfront with that. But that's my speculation, because that sounds like the most pathetic excuse I've ever heard in my life. Seriously, I'll repeat it again. They say, oh, no, child endangerment laws only apply to parents and direct caregivers and not people in administrative or supervisory roles. So in other words, you can endanger children if you're in an administrative role or a supervisory role. Is that not the dumbest thing you've ever heard in your life? What are you going to make a list of certain groups of people that are allowed to endanger children and others that aren't? Yeah, here's a better standard in my opinion. How about we don't let anybody endanger children? Who's ever in favor of child endangerment in any circumstances? And I should give you more information on this. What this guy did, he was one of the primary guys who would know about certain priests molesting kids, harassing kids, and raping kids. And then instead of reporting them to the authorities and going about it through the proper channels and getting them arrested or doing A, B, or C about it, what he did was he shuffled them to different dioceses around the country, sent them to different churches. Said, oh, you're in hot water here. It's okay, though. Don't worry. We're going to ship you into Iowa. And then in Iowa, you won't have to worry about it. It'll be a brand new start. Nobody could come after you. Okay, this guy's lucky. I'm surprised his original sentence was even 3 to 6 years. It'd probably be longer. I mean, that's grotesque. Knowing about kids being raped and not doing anything to stop it and actively doing the opposite? Bill Maher made the best point about this a few years ago. He said, imagine if this was anything else other than a church. Imagine if this was a national chain of daycare centers. It would probably be one of the biggest news stories of the past 50 years, and the chain would immediately be shut down. Everybody that worked there, whether they were involved to a large degree or a tiny degree or not at all, would have been in court, would have spent some time in jail. There would be universal condemnation across all the different media outlets, no matter where you look. But when it happens with the Catholic Church, what do? Oh, it's a few bad apples. Few bad apples. Don't let it spoil the bunch. No. We're still a great organization. Don't worry. It wasn't systemic, even though it literally was systemic, and there was mass cover-ups. I mean, the old Pope, Pope Ratzinger, he had released a statement internally when the abuse was going on, and he said, don't do the immoral action of speaking to the authorities. Keep it in the church. So the act itself is not immoral, but talking to the authorities after it's done, that's immoral. Man, there is this sick, perverse double standard that exists when it's a religion.